Stop resisting! I'm not even moving, please! Marcus's face is pressed into the pavement, his voice cracking as Officer Jefferson drives his knee deeper into his back. Phones are already recording. People are shouting. This is happening in broad daylight, right outside a busy street corner, and everyone can see it. Marcus Hill, 32, had already been detained. Another officer had him sitting down, calm, no struggle. Then Jefferson arrived, and everything flipped in seconds. Because this wasn't control, this was force. And days later, after the video spread everywhere, the department reviewed it and made their decision. No wrongdoing. No charges. No suspension. Nothing. But right as the footage replays, slowed down frame by frame, something doesn't add up. Because just before Jefferson touches Marcus, he says something to the other officer. And the moment you hear it, everything changes. Before we go anywhere further, comment where in the world you are watching from and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. People in the crowd start replaying it out loud. Wait, pause it right there, right there. A man holding his phone leans closer, squinting at the screen. Did you hear that? The clip jumps back 2 seconds. Jefferson's door swings open. He steps out, already tense, already moving fast. The other officer, still beside Marcus, glances at him like he's waiting for instructions. And that's when it happens. Jefferson says something under his breath. Not loud, not for the crowd, just enough for the other officer to hear. What did he say? Someone asks. The video plays again, slower this time. You can't see Marcus's face clearly, but you can hear him breathing hard, confused, trying to understand why everything just escalated. I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. But Jefferson isn't responding to Marcus. He's focused on the other officer, focused on something else entirely, and whatever he says, it changes the energy instantly. The other officer steps back, not hesitating, not arguing, just stepping away, like he already knows what's about to happen. And that's the part that doesn't make sense. Because if Marcus was already under control, if there was no threat, then why did the officer who was handling it suddenly give space? Why did he let Jefferson take over? The department never addressed that. They didn't explain the missing seconds. They didn't release the full body cam. They didn't even mention the second officer's role. They just closed the case. No wrongdoing. But online, people aren't letting it go. Frame by frame, they keep digging. Enhancing audio, zooming in, slowing it down even more. And then someone posts a version where the sound is just clear enough to make out one word. Not shouted, not panicked, calm, familiar. Again. And the moment that word spreads, the entire story shifts. Because now the question isn't what happened to Marcus, it's how many times this has already happened before. The more the video spreads, the less the official story holds up. Marcus, aggressive, his coworker says, shaking his head in disbelief. That man apologizes when someone bumps into him. By the next morning, people who know Marcus Hill are speaking out. Neighbors, friends, even the owner of the warehouse where he works. He's quiet, keeps his head down, never had issues, the manager says on camera. That report doesn't match the man I know. But the police report is firm. Subject displayed non-compliant behavior. Physical resistance observed. The language sounds official, clean, final. And it directly contradicts what people saw in the video. Because in every version that's circulating, Marcus isn't fighting. He's not swinging. He's not even trying to stand up. He's talking, pleading, and that's where the tension starts to crack open. Later that day, a local reporter manages to speak to a woman who was standing just a few feet away when everything happened. He was already sitting down, she says. Hands visible. The first officer was just talking to him. It wasn't serious. What changed? The reporter asks. She doesn't hesitate. That other officer? Jefferson. The moment he showed up, everything changed. That statement hits hard. Because Jefferson wasn't even the one who initiated the stop. He arrived after. And yet, according to the report, he was the one dealing with a volatile suspect. That contradiction spreads fast. Then, another detail surfaces small but impossible to ignore. The department releases body cam footage, but it's edited, clipped. It starts after Jefferson is already on Marcus. No arrival, no initial interaction, no context, Just impact. People notice immediately. Where's the beginning? Someone comments. Why cut that part out? The questions pile up, and then someone uploads a second video, grainy, distant, recorded from across the street. It's shaky, barely stable, but it shows something the official footage doesn't. Jefferson stepping out of his car, turning toward the other officer, and saying something before he even looks at Marcus. The audio is rough, almost drowned out by traffic, but there's just enough clarity to hear the tone. Short, direct, personal, and the other officer's reaction? Instant. He steps back without a word. No confusion, no hesitation, like he understood exactly what Jefferson meant. And that's when one comment starts gaining traction under the video. That didn't look like a reaction, that looked like a routine. And suddenly, one question refuses to go away. What did Jefferson mean by again? Play it again, zoom in on his face this time. The second video is everywhere now. Slowed down, enhanced, replayed thousands of times. People aren't just watching anymore, they're analyzing. Frame by frame, something becomes impossible to ignore. Jefferson isn't reacting to Marcus. He's arriving already tense, already locked in. And that word again, it doesn't sound surprised. It doesn't sound urgent. It sounds familiar. Like this isn't the first time that realization spreads fast. Then, late that night, a new voice enters the conversation. Anonymous, distorted, but clear. I worked with him, the caller says during a local radio segment, and I'm telling you, this isn't new. The host leans forward. What do you mean, not new? A pause. He's had complaints, use of force, escalation, but they never went anywhere. Why not? Another pause, longer this time. Because they didn't want them to. That statement hits harder than the video, because now it's not just about what happened to Marcus. It's about what might have been ignored before. Meanwhile, Marcus is still in recovery, ribs fractured, breathing shallow, his voice quieter now, but steady when he speaks. I wasn't fighting them, he says. I was asking what I did wrong. 2 days later, he files an official complaint. He expects questions, interviews, some kind of process. Instead, he gets a letter, fast, cold, final. Review concluded, no policy violation. 48 hours. That's all it takes for the department to clear Jefferson. No interview with Marcus, no mention of the second video, nothing. And that's when Marcus's sister, Alana, makes a decision. If they won't look into it, she says, holding the letter in her hands, then I will. She doesn't request the incident file. She goes deeper. She files for Jefferson's history, every complaint, every report, every review. And when the documents finally come back, she doesn't say a word at first. She just stares at one page, then looks up slowly and says, "This already happened